What's up, guys? Welcome to Creating 2019. We are jamming with so many amazing experts, human beings, leaders of leaders on so many topics that cover all things life, business, spirituality, health, you name it. And today we're diving into something really special. We're diving into a conversation with Kate Chiffey Gray. I hope I said that last name right, Mama. And we are jamming on embracing the discomfort as a catalyst for change, as well as, because this is her forte, as a modern day shaman priestess, and I'm calling you that, but I'm going to let you introduce yourself in a minute. On the importance of really integrating the plant medicine and avoiding the misuse, because I know that it's trending now. The moment we make things a thing, it loses its power. We've thinged it. We've made it separate, and it becomes like this thing, and that could be a spiritual trap as well. So I am excited to jam. I'm so eager to see where this conversation goes. We've been planning to do a live for a while. Let me bring you on. I've been wanting to dive into this conversation on.
Yay!
Yay!
So good, it worked first time.
Awesome. I think your earrings is creating a little.
They
It
always
looks
do.
gorgeous, dude.
Thank you.
I was just saying that we've been planning to do a live and our schedules weren't really working, which is all perfect. We're here now.
Yeah.
But I've been wanting to dive into this topic with you because of the ayahuasca misuse and the trending and the abuse of that. And people think that they need to do it 20 times. And no.
Yes. Such a powerful topic.
I would love first for you to introduce yourself, who you are, what you do, and then let's dive right in the cosmic rabbit hole.
Yes, thank you, sister. Firstly, thank you for having me on. I'm so grateful. I love you. I love all that you stand for. I love the magic that you bring to the world. So thank you. Oh, it's an honor to be here with you. So who am I? Well, the human that I'm playing in this incarnation is called Kate. I'm a spiritual compass. The role that I facilitate is to bring people back to the wisdom that resides in their own heart. All the answers we seek are within us. What you're looking for is where you're looking from. And my role is just to be a compass to bring you back to that wisdom. I don't particularly teach anyone anything that isn't already within their own heart. And I use ancient traditions like yogic philosophy, Buddhist philosophy, and psychology, and the shamanic medicine, teacher plant medicine. So I don't facilitate ayahuasca, I facilitate wachuma and psilocybin, but I run retreats where I get people to come in that I trust and work with that facilitate it for me. So my passion is integrating the magic that happens in ceremony, making it achievable, making it grounded, and allowing the ego to stay out of it and actually letting people get the true message that the plants have given them.
So amazing. And I love you because of the integrity you bring to it, the honoring that you bring to it. And something that I always look out for in how it resonates with me when I first came across your website, Ancient Awakening.
Yes.
And I was like, yep, she's one of my peeps.
Yeah.
She's not drinking the new age BS.
No new age stuff here. No. It's I love the new age because sometimes it triggers me. So it gives me this beautiful opportunity to look within and go, oh, what's in here that I have such an adverse reaction to around this stuff?
Well, my biggest trigger has been the 5D stuff. And
yes,
we'll probably do a whole live on that. Just that. But let's talk about the topic that's on your heart. And I've been really doing it this way, Kate, intentionally, because I think that we can become massive pro-producers, right? We can plan things, and sometimes the essence gets lost in that planning and trying to have it all line up, right? And I purposely have not contacted speakers before. You know it. It was
Yeah.
today that I reached out to you. I reached out to Lexi today because I wanted to get what's potent in your heart, what is right now the most present. And from there, we get to extract your medicine. From there, we get to share all the wisdom that's on your heart.
I love that. That is so beautiful. I love that so much. You're right, because I think often when we're used to talking about topics, we can go into autopilot as well and become unconscious. So I love that you did that. It's perfect. Yes, I'm excited. So what's on my heart, as we spoke about and you introduced so beautifully, and you said my name perfectly. Thank you.
Awesome.
Yay. Is using suffering as a catalyst for change. And it's so profound. Like my teacher today was saying, we live in such a medicated society. Like we're so busy trying to get out of the discomfort rather than shifting into a state of mindfulness and objectivity and be, what's the gift in this for me? What can I learn from this? How can I leverage this to help me delayer what is holding me back? Because every time we try and medicate or shift out of things, which is quite popular in the new age, like positive thinking realm, like people are missing the gifts that come with the shadow, the gifts that come with the suffering. It's such a huge and powerful, potent catalyst for change. And without it, we can't fully transform. We have to look at it.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly, because especially the medication piece is so true right now. There's so many people on antidepressant for years.
Yes.
And we're talking about successful people in corporate, always with a smile, because they're taking a fucking antidepressant every day.
Yes.
No.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah. So how do we lean into that discomfort? How do we lean into the suffering without becoming addicted to it? Because that's also something to really bring to the forefront, that we can become addicted to dwell in it as well.
Yes. Yeah, totally. And I feel a really important thing to carry into leaning into it is the understanding that we are not the suffering. The suffering is not our identity. It's not, these feelings are not ours. These thoughts are not ours. They're just part of the program. There's something for us to observe. When we start to attach to them and make them part of our identity, like, oh, I'm the vulnerable one, or I'm the one that, you know, has had all this really crap stuff happen to, and that's now my identity, that's when we begin to lose the power of using it for change. So it's about staying in that state of observation and being with it, like forms of, like my background's Buddhism, forms of Vipassana, like sitting in meditation for 11 hours a day. It's going to give you tools to sit in your shit.
I swear that everyone needs to do Vipassana. Everyone.
Yeah.
It was so powerful for me, and I want to dive deeper into it, where I can reach that level of the 4 weeks that they only allow if you do 10 sittings.
Yes. It's,
I'm on my
I've got
second one. I'm
goosebumps.
getting there.
Ooh, you will get there. Oh my God, I've got goosebumps. That's so good. Yes. I feel like the thing with Vipassana, and like I'm about to go into a Zen retreat tomorrow, which is perfect. So it's 8 days of sitting for 10 hours a day, silence, like full internal reflection. And what's beautiful about it is it allows us to actually see all the areas we've been hiding, because our society is set up in a way, and this is leading into how can people lead into it. Firstly, disconnect to reconnect. You know, notice like how much you're using social media to numb whatever you're experiencing. You know, how much are you using coffee or sugar or food or alcohol or Netflix? All these things by themselves are harmless, but it's our misuse. In psychology, we call it trauma blocking. So looking at, you know, the things around us, the modalities we're using to block what it is we actually need to experience. And that's the first step. And then if you're brave, start doing Vipassana style meditation or Zen style meditation, understanding pain is phenomena. It will pass. Everything passes. There's no need to try and get out of the pain. It will definitely pass. Come from a place of objectiveness. What's your reactions? How do you show up in relationship to pain? What is your reaction to pain? All these things allow us to unlock that wisdom that has been in our DNA for millennia, like millennia. This is,
I love it. Disconnect to reconnect. So
yes,
powerful. We need that. We need that pause. We
yes,
need it to silence the chatter, to silence all these external simulations, to just be. Um,
yeah.
and you said something really powerful that I want us to dive into a little bit more. You said how I lost my train of thought. Let's
I
keep
love
going.
it.
But it was related to that disconnect to reconnect, how we get to move into the spaces where there is no distraction.
Yeah.
Because we can
Yes.
get so caught up with the distractions.
Yes. Yes. Like over Christmas, I took 5 days off, and I'm so grateful. My clients were like, "Yeah, that's okay, no worries." And I disconnected, and even it brought up a little bit of discomfort in me because I've been in this a domino effect of creating for so long and being of service, that when that stripped back, it had been over a year since I'd done that. I was like, wow, interesting how many attachments I had created for doing so I didn't need to sit with some things that were coming up. So we all need to do it from time to time. It's really important. Set yourself even a day, one day, leave your phone at home, go out into nature. You know, don't even take a book or a pen, like go hardcore. Do not like do anything but just be in nature. Walk and sit, that's it. And see what comes up. It will be profound, I guarantee it. Like so profound.
I love that. I love that. Let's dive into this plant medicine and all forms of medicine, in the sense, because I know that it's not just ayahuasca, there's magic mushrooms, there's
Mm-hmm.
so many different um, elements that we can use,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And I love the way that you do it. I haven't been to your retreats, but I am making it a point to come to one.
Yeah.
What what would you say, like, for someone that doesn't know,
Mm-hmm.
what is it? How does it really like support us in our evolution, in our growth, in our spiritual connection?
Yeah. Yeah, that's such a beautiful question. And whilst they all like do different things in the sense of they all work with different elements and they have different energies, ultimately, if I was going to blanket it, they allow us to get out of our own way. So there's a part of our biology, you know, we can call it the parent part of our brain, the logical part of our mind that wants to keep us stuck in habitual ways of being. So when we go to seek change and to deepen our understanding of self, there's going to be alarm bells, and that parent part of the brain will be wanting to sabotage us. With the medicine, it allows us to transcend that for a period of time to taste the essence of who we are, which is beyond this fear, beyond this program, and it's expansive, infinite, like just everything. That is why it's so powerful, because you can't get that in the normal conscious way of being, because we've had years of programming to block that out. Our whole society, the Western culture, is set to disconnect us from our truth. So the medicine reconnects us to our truth, and that's why it's so powerful.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
And it's so true. There's so many um growth and releasing, shedding of old belief systems for
Yeah.
me. Every time I do it once a year, that's like
Yeah.
my ritual,
Beautiful.
to sit with Pachamama and
Oh, yeah.
to sit in a magic mushroom.
Mm.
I facilitate some underground. Now I'm like first
Yeah.
time saying it online, but I'll do it really down low. I won't promote it. I want to do it
Yeah.
with very
Yeah.
specific people that are open to it and
Yeah.
ready.
Yes.
Now, the misuse.
Mm. Oh yeah.
Your face.
It's yeah. It's a hot topic right now, hey?
Because how do you discern with the people that are misusing it from the people that are actually really diving deep into it, you know?
Mm.
Like, how do you
Mm.
discern? And I find that my ego comes up and it's like, oh man, come on now. Do you have to
Yeah.
announce every time you do it? Do you have to
Yeah.
really do that?
Yeah. 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 Oh, I feel you. And I can only speak from my point of view and my level of understanding and experience. I don't claim to have all the answers. From my observation, the same thing I spoke about with the pain when you said, how do people stop you know, buying into the pain and becoming addicted to it. It's that drive and that need to make the experience a significant, to give us significance and a form of identity. So when we're driving from the place of the ego to do this work because it makes us feel special, because we're a shaman and we have this power and we can do this, when it's coming from that place of just the need to re-establish the illusory self, the separation, the duality, when we're not actually using it to delayer all of that duality and separation so we can touch the oneness of all things, when that intention is not present, it can be dangerous and it's misused, because that's why there's so much black magic in the jungle at the moment. I was talking to a friend, his wife is Peruvian, they're moving back to the jungle. I'm going to go and stay with him in September. He said it's rife, like people are wanting to hurt other people. All these things are being motivated by separation. I'm right, you're wrong, I'm better than you, I'm going to do things, use these magical elements and powers that I have to basically fuck other people up. That's not coming from source. That is coming from your ego. Just quietly, if you know, guys, if you didn't realize that already, if you ever watch this.
It's like the people that play God in their bubble, and I've done it in the past, right?
Me too, yeah.
And it's like the people that now all of a sudden think that they are, you know, spiritual, enlightened beings. And yet, I love Ramdav's quote. I love Ramdas. His quote is, it always hits home when I hear it. It comes up in the perfect time. He's like, if you think you're enlightened, go and spend the week with your family.
Yes, best quote ever. It's so true. It's so true. And it's, the medicine has that danger. And if we look at even outside of the medicine world, the guru world, like you've got Bikram Chandri, you've got, you know, a guru every second week in India that's being caught on sexual assault charges. Like it's this God complex, like that comes up, this, the ego comes up and seeks significance, and they have to defend their specialness. When we seek to be special, we're in delusion. It's not about being special. It's delusionment, like in a big way.
Because when you claim to be special, you are unconsciously making others unspecial.
Yes.
You have separated yourself. You have now this thing of like, I'm the God in my bubble.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
What would you say for the people that do it a lot?
The medicine a lot.
Yeah.
It can be another form of trauma blocking, and I've seen it. Like I know of a particular friend that uses it to find out, you know, if their partner's cheating, and just really like things that the medicine was not put here on this beautiful earth to be used for. Like it's to be used with intention. I don't feel if it's used with intention. We can have periods of using it a lot and then long periods of not using it, like 5-10 years, and then you come back to it. But just making sure the clarity is there, your intention is for deep work, and also understanding that it takes integration. Like it's like you've been ripped out of the matrix. It's not something to take lightly or to disrespect or be dismissive of. It's a big deal. Like it's a really big deal.
Which is why I love your work, because you really stress that aspect, and a lot of people are not doing that integration piece.
It's so important. And I feel like I went through a period of time on my own journey when I started to question my sanity. And I took, in my younger years, I partied hard and I took a lot of psychedelics. Like we have this thing here in Australia called a bush doof, which means a dance party in the bush, because the doof is like doof, 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 doof. So that was, I know it's so funny, but I used to go to them all the time. So I would, and that's where I got my introduction to psychedelics. And so, you know, would take LSD with ecstasy and, you know, mushrooms and wachuma and you name it. And there was a time where I started to question if I was actually going insane, because we are here in matter, in physical form, and we've been conditioned to only see certain elements of this reality. So when you don't have the correct integration or foundation to be able to access those other dimensions or whatever it is we access in that, you will become untethered and you will have a very traumatic experience. And I've seen it time and time and time again.
That's so powerful what you just said. Integration and foundation. Like,
Yes.
really get that you are creating all of it, and Pachamama or the magic mushrooms, these amazing healing entities,
Hmm.
are literally working through your intentions, through
Yeah.
what you're making possible, available, and what you're the space of revealing for. It's so
Yes.
beautiful and
It's so
powerful.
important. Yeah, it's so important. I think if I didn't have the solid foundation of Buddhism and like all of the other ancient teachings, yogic philosophy, Hinduism, Vedic scriptures, I could have easily come untethered. And I think that is why I'm so passionate about bringing this work to the West, because our psychology is different. We have a different way, a different mental structure. We've been disconnected from Pachamama for centuries. Not all of us, but some of us wouldn't even understand the word oneness. Yet we then trek to the jungle and sit with ayahuasca and come out thinking we're insane and we don't know why. It's because we lack the foundation. Like, the foundation has to be built in order for us to experience these things, or it can send us loopy. It has many people.
How would you define that solid foundation, that intentional foundation that you're speaking
Yeah.
about?
Yeah, beautiful question. No one's ever asked me that before. So
Mm.
for me, it's a sense of awareness of who you really are,
Mm.
of understanding that we are an infinite being playing human, and the oneness and the duality is all source and all God. And we get to give things meaning and we get to choose how things show up. If we can have that in ourselves and we can understand that, we can handle whatever the medicine brings to us. And, only through very difficult journeys have I learned that. But understanding who we truly are. We're beyond identity, we're beyond mind, we're beyond ego, we're beyond birth and death, we're beyond all of that, yet we're playing it for a period of time. And most people resist that human element, and then that becomes an issue when they sit with the medicine, because they can't integrate back into civilization. So it's
Mm.
about understanding we're both of that, and we get to dance between the two when we work with the medicine. But we have to come back to this life. We have to live the human game. That's why we don't have to, but we choose to.
That's why we're here, the game of
Yeah,
life.
totally. It's fun.
And we fought so hard to be here
Yes,
in this
we did.
form.
Yes, yes.
What would you say to someone, because I get this a lot, and I'm sure you do too, of people that are afraid? They're curious, but they're like, no, not now.
Yeah, it's a real, yeah, fear is huge. It's fear of the unknown.
Yeah.
So it really depends so much on the person, but sometimes the fear can be the internal parent system or security alarm system, knowing that something transformative is coming. And so that fear kicks in to keep us safe, which, is useful in some cases. However, if someone truly is being called, and you are called by the medicine, it's not a conscious decision we make.
Absolutely.
If we don't go, oh, I'm sitting with
Hands down.
ayahuasca, that will not end well for you.
In
Um,
private, I will tell you how it was called. In private.
Amazing. Amazing. I would love to hear that. I would love to hear that. Yeah, so firstly, assessing, am I truly being called? If you feel you're truly being called, understanding that fear is that internal biological, like instinctive part of you that wants to keep you safe, but it doesn't need to block you here because you've got that calling, trusting in something that is guiding you, that's bigger than us, the plants' wisdom, Pachamama's wisdom. If you're not being called and you feel the fear, perhaps it's stopping you from stepping in because you're not being called, and it's not something that we just do from ego, from our choice. It's a calling.
Can you differentiate or distinguish what
Yeah.
Pachamama is like? What is her forte, and what is what's the other one? The grandfather,
Yes, Wachuma.
Wachuma, which something
Yes.
it has another name here in the States.
San Pedro.
San Pedro, yes,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
mushrooms and LSD. Like,
Yeah.
can you do and school us and educate us on the differences
Yeah.
and the elements and how it really works with us?
Yes. Yes. Well, I'll start with Wachuma, San Pedro. San Pedro, I did a shamanic animal journey, and the spirit of the cactus came to me. I didn't get any animals. I got the cactus. Oh no, I got an owl, but the cactus was predominantly there with me. And I love cactuses. So people take photos when they see cactuses in shops and send it to me saying, this reminded me of you. So I'm going to start with him because he's so close to my heart. He's the grandfather energy medicine, and he's very stoic by nature. From the Andean mountains in Peru, he is calm. He's like getting a hug from your grandfather. And he allows us to experience heaven on earth. So he works in the earthly dimensions. And what's beautiful is he got the name San Pedro because when the Spanish were invading those parts of South America, they became very afraid because if they got caught using this medicine, they were skinned alive. So they stopped doing the ceremonies of the day, which is traditional, and they started switching them to the night. They stopped calling Grandfather Wachuma and started calling him San Pedro after St. Peter, because St. Peter was said to hold the keys to the kingdom of heaven. And they believed that the medicine allowed us to experience, I'm covered in goosebumps.
Me
heaven
too.
On earth. Yeah, yeah.
I'm covered in goosebumps.
Yeah, he is here. And so that was how they could keep using it, by staying safe. And they would actually put like statues of Mary and make it really Catholic so they could keep themselves protected. And that's how we got the name change. But I think what's beautiful is the fact that St. Peter in the Bible held the keys to the kingdom of heaven, and they named him so perfectly after that, because he does hold the keys to heaven on earth. He connects you to each other, to Pachamama. He does beautiful things. Recently, I saw him do something I've never seen him do with my mum. My mum sat ceremony with us and came to retreat. Oh my God. He took, oh my God, I couldn't believe, like she loved Wachuma. It must run in the family. But he took her back to her childhood. Like she was right back at 7 years old collecting Coke bottles from behind the drive-in to buy her mum a present. And I've never seen him work with anybody in that way before. So what we're noticing in our retreat, sorry, I'm slightly off track, is these medicines are showing up in different ways. They're working differently with people. And speaking to some of my shaman friends that help facilitate, we believe that it's the container that we're creating is allowing them to work intelligently and differently with each other and with the people. It's really cool. It's super cool.
Amazing. Sounds amazing.
Yes, there's much more about him, but there's a book called San Pedro by Ross Heathcote. I can put the title in if anyone's interested in knowing more about him. It's a really short book, but it's so cool. It's one of my favorite like plant medicine books. It's really simple, easy to read. So psilocybin mushrooms, which I know that you love as well. I love the cheekiness. Mushrooms are elemental. They have elements of the cheeky little elvish creatures. Terence McKenna believed that they were extraterrestrial. They're the oldest known plant medicine. They're older than ayahuasca because they predate alchemy. So with ayahuasca, we needed to be able to like boil the water and break down the plants, whereas mushrooms were growing on the field. There's stories of African tribes using psilocybin mushrooms to actually enhance their hunting ability because they're an arousal medicine. There's also stories of UFC fighters using them in training to help them have psychic abilities to see what's coming in the fight. Joe Rogan had a whole podcast about it. I know, it's amazing. So for mushrooms also have a dark element to them though, which is what I think I love about them. And they can bring out the shadow and the madness of the mind. In some people, I always have a deep trust if that comes up for someone I'm working with. It's what needs to come up, but they allow us to see the duality in things, as well as they allow us to connect to the galactic realms. So they're so intelligent. They'll work with people in a really different way depending on who the person is. One profound lesson I learned from the mushrooms is I used to take them a lot back in the day, the bush doofs, recreationally.
I'm gonna use that, the bush doofs.
Bush doof. You should start some in like somewhere in Westchester County or something in New York. Some bush doofs. And I was going to have a kind of a more recreational, like just connection session with my friends. This was about a year ago. And anyway, I didn't even have a gram, and they floored me. Like I disappeared. Like it was like I had taken 5 grams. It's similar to for taking that amount. I was vomiting, and they really handed me my butt. And when I resat with them in ceremony after that, and it had been a while because it really shook me because I didn't understand why I had such a small amount, and this really shook me. And they said, "Oh, you're back. Why have you been so long?" And I said, because last time I sat with you guys, you handed me my ass. And they said, well, you didn't treat us with the respect we deserve. We're older than all the other medicines.
Exactly.
And I was like, thank you. Thank you. They're like, you know better now. You didn't know when you were like 21 and 20, but now you know better. And I was like, thank you. Lesson learned. Yeah. So that's an example of how powerful they can be and how they mold with people. They really mold with people. They're good for unlocking creativity, connection, anxiety, depression. Like the use for mushrooms is literally endless. What was it? LSD is similar to mushrooms, but it goes for a lot longer and it brings you up and energizes you. Yeah. Oh my God. It's like the gift that kind of never stops giving for like 16 hours.
I felt like my brain had rockets, okay? And that bitch is not turning off.
Yeah. It's crazy, isn't it? Oh my gosh. Yeah. So LSD allowed me, because at the time I was studying Buddhism at university, and I think we were doing the Tibetan Book of the Dead and Dying. And all of a sudden in my LSD, like we didn't call them journeys back then, we called them trips because, we were taking it recreationally. All of a sudden I started seeing like the fabric of reality beginning to morph and all these dimensions and levels of existence that I was reading about in these texts. And that was when the penny dropped for me, that the power of psychedelics. Didn't act on it till much later. I kept using recreationally, but it's profound. It allows us to see the truth of reality. We see beyond. So we normally see just the light. That's what our eyes are conditioned to see. But there's so much more going on here. We see 1 to 3% of what's there. The LSD allows us, I believe, to see 100% of what's there. So things morph. The reality as we know it completely is ripped apart and things will manifest. It's a chemical compound. It was Albert Hoffman, I believe, was the gentleman that found it by accident. It was meant to be a weight loss pill. Hilarious. I know, right? What the hell? All these housewives in the 1970s thinking that there's chipmunks growing out of their wall or something. Again, LSD will work with your level of understanding, your level of consciousness. It does have shadow elements. I find it very similar to psilocybin. The only difference is I find it's very energizing and it's relentlessly, it goes on and on and on. Psilocybin grounds me. It allows me to cocoon. LSD, I'm wanting to get up and I'm wanting to explore and I'm wanting to see things. Funny story, my sister, the night before her year 12 exam, I gave her a tab of LSD because I was really naughty back then. And I told her she'd be fine. She wasn't. She couldn't sleep. I was such an evil human.
Wow. I used to do that
passed.
to my friends. I would put things in their drinks they would not know. Mainly like, and guys, I'm talking about my teens. Like, this is so not me now. I wouldn't do it. No, all my friends say that I pranked them, but I would put like Molly or LSD in the drinks, and girl, all of a sudden they're dancing.
Yeah.
And then they stop, and then they look at me like, what did you do?
Oh my gosh. I'm so glad we didn't know each other back then. We would have got into all sorts of trouble. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Can we touch on Pachamama?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes. Pachamama in Buddhism, they teach that she is the most ultimate enlightened being. And goosebumps.
Yeah.
Because she is constantly giving, she's constantly providing. We take from her and we take from her, yet she's always just the absolute embodiment of metta, kindness, loving kindness, by continually holding us and giving us the wisdom through her beingness, like the teacher plants, like the animals, to help us find our way home. She is, in my belief, everyone has a different belief. I believe she's a living entity. She's a being. She has a soul, a heartbeat, the Schumann resonance. She's absolutely our original mother. And for me, Mother Earth grounds me. So if I'm ever feeling anxious, I will go outside with no shoes on. She's a big part of Buddhist teachings and beliefs. They call her our original mother.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, she's a huge part of, really strong connection to Mother Earth. And they believe she's the ultimate enlightened being. She's our original mother. And for me, she plays a huge role because she provides the plants I work with. But not only that, like, she supports me. She's one of the only two things that are with me from birth to death. The other one is my breath. So they're both
Mm.
powerful instruments to allow me to find my way home. She has a roadmap for us to find our way to the wisdom in our own heart. We're just so in our own heads, we haven't been able to see it. She's everything.
I love her,
Mm.
and I feel very honored, like such deep honor and reverence for
Mm.
this being, because she really opened up my clairs from the first sitting. It was like, and I remember, just to give you a little story, my one of my best friends who's actually here, he did it with me, and he held space like a mofo. Like he had me in this cocoon, and that's why he was there. Like I just knew that intuitively, that's why you're here. And girl, I went places and I spoke with beings and I heard and I saw and I experienced, and her confirmation was like, you didn't need to be here, but you are. And it was this message of like, I want to show you what you're really capable of. And boosh,
Mm.
so powerful, girl.
Wow, she really is like, she's our mother. She has the wisdom of our mother. Like
Yeah,
she's the ultimate. Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's
I
beautiful. I have
love it.
goosebumps.
I love it. Guys, if you are watching this video and you do not know who Kate Chiffey Gray is, you get to follow her. You get to do one of her retreats. You get to do one of her mentorships. I think she has one right now that she's promoting, or is it closed?
It's full. It's
It's
full.
full. It's done.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah. So
But when
exciting.
she opens it up, I promise to do a live where we really promote it,
Yeah.
because I think this is the next level of people understanding and honoring and respecting these elements, these medicines that are alive, in my opinion, as well. I agree with you, to integrate into our lives so that we learn our ways again. You
Mm.
know, that's really, it's like a return to home. It's a return to
Yeah.
your soul.
Yes. It's exactly what it is.
Now, going back
Mm.
really quick to
Mm.
the main combo, it's all one main combo. And
Yes.
then we'll wrap up with my question that I ask all the experts.
Mm-hmm.
How would you define pain?
Mm. Yeah, that's a really good question. Yeah, far out. That's a great question. So pain is something that feels, it's a sensation, either a physical or an emotional sensation, or even a mental sensation. Thoughts can be painful that cause us an energetic contraction of some description. So it can manifest in physical, mental, or emotional, but it's an energetic contraction. So it's a or it's something that we're wanting to move away from. And that's our biology wanting us to move away. But ultimately, the cosmic joke of it all is to actually transform. We have to lean in.
Right, right. Beautifully said, beautifully said.
Mm.
And I invite all of us to really look at pain as an ultimate teacher and friend, and and make it an ally, not someone that you bring with you everywhere, but to really like extract the lessons and the wisdom and the medicine that ultimately is going to be part of your story. And your story is here to be of massive growth and contribution.
Yes, yes. So well said.
Now, my last question, darling. You ready?
No. Yes, I love your accent so much, by the way. It's the bomb.
I grew up so complex about my accent because my Spanish friends spoke really proper Spanish. I can never. And then my English friends spoke really proper English, and I'm like somewhere in the middle.
Oh, I love it. It's so cool. I love it. I could listen to you
Thank
talk
you.
all day. You're so welcome.
Thank you. My last question, babe, is what are your top 2 to 3 tips that you strongly believe in on what it takes to create an epic year?
Mm. Resilience. That's
Mm.
number one. Being able to keep showing up even when it doesn't feel good. So that's my definition of resilience.
Yes.
Um, Two would be the ability to let go and have the wisdom to know when things no longer serve us, let it go and move on. And don't make a big deal about it. It actually doesn't matter. Just keep moving forward. And I think that that's one thing where a lot of people get stuck on. They hold and they cling. Oh no, this is the one thing that was going to that change everything. Well, maybe it was the one thing that was going to get you a quarter of the way, but you got to let that mofo go to continue moving on. And don't make a big deal about it. Don't make a victim story. Just move on. So
Huge.
they're my two things.
Huge. Keep showing up. Let go and move on. Stop dwelling on the shit that doesn't serve you.
Yeah.
Stop dwelling on the shit that creates dissonance. And I forgot who I shared this with. It was so powerful, Kate, and I think you would really appreciate it. That the metaphysics, the meaning of the metaphysic meaning of when Jesus said, "Turn the other cheek," wasn't to sit there and take it. It was turn your focus and attention to what you truly want. Don't get hooked. That blew my world. I was like, what? I'll turn the cheek all day.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Damn straight. And that's it. Just look somewhere else and keep going. Like, oh, I love that. That's really profound.
So
yeah,
amazing.
It feels good.
Thank you. I want to honor you. I want to honor your work. I want to honor your magic. I truly love people that are leading with integrity, that are living it, that are in it, that are a part of, you know. And I think people like you, like Alexi that I interviewed earlier, myself, and so many of these speakers, were really pioneering a way for people to make this practical, make this real. It is woo-woo, but you are woo-woo, and we all are.
Yeah.
And in that sense, like I really want to honor your work because you're making it accessible, practical, and with such deep honor and respect for what the elements. Yeah.
Thank you so much, sister. Thank you.
Can you share just really quick about the gift that you're giving our participants in this? I loved it, by the way. It is in the email if you guys didn't see it. If you haven't registered, it's Creating Your 2019. I'm also going to put the links in the comments.
Yes.
Tell me, what is it about?
Yes, it's something really simple, and it's 5 ways to unlock your ancient wisdom. And they're things that you've heard of before, but the problem with most people is they lack actually taking action on them because they don't have an understanding of why they're important and where they come from. So this little PDF gives you an in-depth understanding of why they're important, what they do, where they come from, and then how to implement them in a really simple, basic way in your life. We don't need to reinvent the wheel. All the wisdom is already there. It's been there for eons. We've just got to actually do it and not get distracted. That's it. So I hope you enjoy it. There's some videos there. There's some little homeworks. Feel free to reach out if you sign up to it and give me feedback on how you're going. I would love to hear. Any questions, just ask. And yeah, I hope that you all enjoy it.
Yes, and follow her and do one of her retreats and her mentorships. She is thebomb.com. I love you, Mama, and I love you. We'll be jamming again.
Yes, we will. This was amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I love you.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Thanks, guys.
Time.
Bye.